My name's Eddie Samuneti Solo. I work for the University Teaching Hospital in Zambia, in Lusaka, and I'm in the Department of Pathology and Microbiology, specifically in the TB laboratory. My work involves running processing of clinical samples, and I also conduct research, involved in research, because the institution I work for is a tertiary hospital, and we have to do both clinical and research work. The number of centers involved in TB diagnosis. In the Zambian network, we have about 392 diagnostic sites. Out of this number, three of the facilities also are involved in conducting TB culture, apart from microscopy and gene expert. But the rest of the institutions or the labs involved in the TB testing basically test using smear microscopy and gene expert. Yes, so the TB lamp procedure, the handling and the speed. Of course, when you are just starting a procedure for the first time, it's usual you get intimidated. You feel maybe it's too complex and all these fears. But as you gain experience, you become familiar to the procedure, and you find it to be very user-friendly, and the speed increases, the confidence increases. That was the same scenario which I went through when I just started handling TB lamp. Formal training, when it comes to training, formal training for TB lamp is about 3 days. Enough for somebody to get trained on TB lamp procedure. But then apart from training, then these trainees or personnel, staff have to acquire skill. And skill comes through practice. So the more they practice, the more they gain the skill. And you are talking about 3 weeks of practice, then people gain the skill. In my lab, we evaluated the performance of TB lamp, and the study design was in such a way that we compare it with what was already existing. That's the fluorescent microscopy smear. So from the comparison, it was quite clear that the positivity rate for TB lamp was quite high, 22%, while the positivity rate for smear microscopy was 14%. And this difference was really quite statistically significant. Other than that, we cultured the discrepant samples, which were lamp positive and smear negative. From the culture results, again, we grew Mycobacterium tuberculosis complex in 70% of samples that smear microscopy missed, but TB lamp picked. So now we are talking about, this is the load of cases for TB which smear microscopy could be missing or is missing. Yeah, so looking forward and try to look at the challenges of implementing lab in Zambia. Probably it would be good to do a pilot first. So our plans are to do a pilot study, all right? Pilot implementation, because then from the pilot we will learn lessons. We will actually work and find the challenges. So when we acquire or gather those challenges, then now we'll look at the best solutions to those challenges. But otherwise, it would be wouldn't want to guess about the challenges, but we want to practically experience them. Yes, they should unveil themselves from the ground, from the practical experience, through a pilot implementation. Yes, so as I said, the next step from where we are now, after this evaluation, the results are quite good and are promising. So the next step now is the results will be reviewed the policymakers, okay? The results will inform the policymakers. So a decision will be made by policymakers. After that decision, we plan, as I said already, to go in phase-like steps, okay? Don't plan of a all roll-out mechanism, but we'll start with pilot, and then if a pilot is successful, or we sort out whatever problems we encounter during the pilot, next now we'll identify a province or two, because Zambia will have 10 provinces. So we'll actually go roll out in phases. We'll stagger the roll out. Because as we'll be doing that, we'll be learning lessons. Yes.